Hi folks, Jack Spirico with another survival podcast video. Today what we're going to be doing is harvesting and preserving through dehydration some what's called trombone zucchini. This is actually two trombone zucchini plants. As you can see, this is a variety of zucchini that even though it's a zucchini, it actually grows on a vine instead of a bush like most zucchinis. This is an heirloom variety. It's an Italian variety of zucchini. And let me get... I want to cut my netting. One of them off here for you to take a look at. They're quite a unique looking little animal, and this is what I like about them is you can let them grow to this size and they still taste like a nice fresh small zucchini. I can also let this grow a lot larger and it becomes basically a winter variety of squash if I'm to do that. This big bulbous area down here is where all the seeds are. This right here is just pure solid squash. I'm going to show you something interesting that's happened due to a lack of pollination with a couple of these. Check that out. Kind of funny looking, isn't it? And what's happened there is this one simply didn't get a good pollination, so its seed head or its bulb of seeds never developed. And due to that, it doesn't have a lot of mass production or seeds for saving down there at the bottom. But this is all good to eat. That's one thing I like about this variety as well. I think there's a couple more on here. Let me go ahead and get them off. There's one more on there, but I'm going to let it get a little bit bigger. So this is our harvest for today. And I took all of the fruit off of this just 3 days ago. So these all grew in the last 3 days. So what I'll be doing is I'll be taking them inside, getting them ready to dehydrate, and I'll be showing you how to do that. And then we'll have part 2 of the video where I show you what they look like when they're a finished product. Alright, so I'm back, and like I said, we're going to show you how to not just harvest this stuff, but preserve it rather than just cook it today. I'm not going to cut them all up because I figured you'll get bored watching me do that, but I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing is actually dehydrating them. I've got my trays here from my Excalibur dehydrator, and once we get them dehydrated, the next segment, I'll be showing you how to store them in cans like this. This is a paint can, but it's probably easier to see with the lid. You'll notice that it's gold. Well, this is a food grade paint can. I got 100 of these. I don't remember how much for it, but they weren't that much. And they're about the same size as a soup can, so they'll fit in my Harvest 72 rack for storing food, my Shelf Reliance Harvest 72 rack. So that's why I decided to go with these. It's to be simple as you can get. Once they're dehydrated, toss them in, add an O2 absorber, seal them up, label them, and what do you want? You've got 20 years sustainability here with dehydrated vegetables. So all you got to do to dehydrate zucchini, first thing you want to do is get rid of that top. We'll compost that later. That's why I like doing stuff outside. We're going to just go ahead and start cutting slices. And I like to cut my zucchini slices for dehydration a little bit thicker than I think most people would. And once I get a few cut, I'll kind of give you a... So, right about there. That's about how thick I like them. And the reason I do that is they do shrink an awful lot. When I used to do them in the sun before I got my Excalibur, I went thinner than this. But with my Excalibur, I go about like that. Now that I've kind of turned the corner with this one. Oh. Kind of a snack. Now, I did want to kind of show you how you deal with this big bulbulous end of these things. It's not really that big a deal. I usually cut it in half. You can see there's where your seeds are. And if you let them get much bigger than this, they're really not that good as zucchini anymore. Then they kind of go into the territory of winter squash. That's what I love about these. They're kind of a dual purpose squash, these trombone zucchinis. What I do is I cut them in half and I cut them in half again. And then I go ahead and I just make my slices. And instead of round slices, these little pizza-shaped slices. And again, just delicious raw. What I want to do now, I'm going to bring in my dehydrator, and I want to space them. They can be real close. You don't want them touching each other. So, I'm not going to show you how to stick them in a dehydrator because I think you can figure that out for yourself. I'm going to dehydrate these at about 110 degrees. It'll take about a day and a half, but we'll be back with the next segment in just a second. You won't have to wait. Through the miracle of modern film, you'll see how we can them and put them away for long-term storage in just a minute. Okay, so we're back, and you know, a couple seconds passed for you, and it's been actually about 2 days running the dehydrator. And this is what we've ended up with. Remember, we started out with 3 very large zucchinis, and we're down to chips about this size. And these guys are fully dehydrated, nice and completely dehydrated. So what we're going to do is we're going to can them again, as I mentioned earlier. Food grade paint cans. These are phonetically lined. They cost a little bit more, but hey, you're storing food, so it's worth it. Now, one thing I love about the Excalibur dehydrator is the way that these little inserts into their trays work. So I should be able, with a few exceptions, get most of that stuff just right in there. I've got a few that are stuck on. And I don't think we'll quite fit them all into one can. We'll see what we can do with it. Try to get the stuck on ones off. And you want to make sure you dehydrate them until they're fully dehydrated so they'll store optimally for you. So we'll end up with about 1.5 cans out of this, and we'll just do 1 can here. Now this is pretty simple. This is about as simple as it gets. We'll take, these are 100 gram, what do you call, these are 100 gram O2 absorbers. We'll put 2 in there. It's probably more than we need. Put the top on, and I'll go ahead and press it down. And you can really seal these by hand. You can use a rubber mallet if you want to, but I've never had a problem sealing these just like that. There you go. So we'll label that. We'll put that in storage. And that's good for 15 to 20 years, folks. So you've just seen zucchini from the garden through the dehydrator into long-term storage, about as simple as it gets. This has been Jack Spirko with another Survival Podcast video.